and welcome to This Week at Shrouded Special Edition, episode 65. We're going to be going over our impressions of the final shape up until this point. Let it be known now, this podcast is going to contain spoilies. Alright, so if you're not interested in that yet, or you haven't gotten through the entire campaign, or you don't want to know anything about the final shape, I would recommend you wait for another week to watch this. I was going to say I was going to give you my non-spoiler review right off the top, but it's really good there. But there's a lot of problems. So, how's that? That's it. That's all you can listen to. Now we're going to get right into it. I'm your host,
good, and it's terrible.
Yeah. I'm your host, AGreener. We got Mr. Wrecked here. That's going to give us some great feedback today. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. And we're going to get right into it. We're going to talk. This is going to be a shorter than normal podcast because we do want to get right back into playing Destiny. At least I do. So I think we should start right off the top by, addressing the elephant in the room. The server issues on day one that plagued basically everybody for the better part of Tuesday. My servers didn't really start to clear up probably around 10, 11 o'clock Eastern time, before things seemed to chill at least a little bit, not constantly getting kicked. At that point it became I was getting kicked, or sent the orbit once an hour, which was still bad, when you think about it now, but at the time it was it was terrible. You couldn't do a lot. First off, people couldn't get in, okay, which was bad, but once I figured out you could just join somebody from the from your Steam list and it got you right into the server, I was good, because every time I got kicked, that's all I would do. And then I would click my hunter, and it would say, do you want to join this fire team? I would say, nope. And then it would put me in orbit. And I loved it. It was awesome, every single time. I just realized now I still have all the sound alerts on. I'm going to turn them off so it doesn't ruin the podcast. Ding, 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 ding. Anyone who tried to get it in there while I was doing that, you failed. So that was terrible, and how it was is nobody could get in, nobody can get in. People are angry, mad. I was a little less mad about that specifically at the time because I was chilling, trying to get in for an hour or so, talking to Twitch chat, and just doing my thing. What really got me was when you actually got into the game. And trying to load up missions, and you couldn't load up the mission. And then when you did load up the mission, you'd play through it. You get kicked. Thank God there were checkpoints, but sometimes the checkpoints were a little ways back. And I heard some people just had their progress reset completely.
Not only did they have their progress reset completely, but sometimes shit just didn't count, even if you did it.
Oh, rough. Yeah, that sucks. And then. Even so, after that, even once you get to the Pale Heart, you do the first mission, and then you start doing the campfire thing all the way across the Pale Heart. To start up each mission, you had to go to the Pale Heart, and then you had to go to the mission flag. And the problem with that was you were RNGing your motherfucking self to get to the Pale Heart. And then once you finally got there, you'd RNG yourself for the mission to be able to start. And then if the mission didn't start on the first time, it would just kick you back to orbit. And so you'd have to start RNGing your way back into the Pale Heart again. And then you'd finally get it. And then you'd be like, oh my God, will the mission start this time? And then it'd kick you back out to orbit. And then you'd be like, fuck, another 10 minutes trying to get to the Pale Heart. And then you finally get the mission to start. And then you get 10 minutes into the mission, you get kicked back out to orbit. That to me, I kept my cool on stream. I think I screamed fuck a couple times when it happened, but I never went on any sort of big rants. it was very annoying. But at the same time, I wasn't necessarily like, holy fuck, I hate Bungie. They're the worst. Fuck them. Fuck this. Fuck that. You know, I did choose to play on launch day, where video games have a notoriously hard time. However, Bungie did a really good job, I think, on Witch Queen and Lightfall. Like, there was minimal errors from my remembrance. So I think that I had a better expectation for the final shape, because it looked like they, nailed the process. But I guess there's just too many changes in the final shape that, I don't know, they fucked something up, and it was terrible. So yeah, we can get into the gameplay stuff after. Why don't you go ahead and give your day one experience?
All right. So like everybody, it took a while for me to get in. It took me about 3 hours to finally get into the game. I actually had my Steam account trying to log in at the same time as my PS5. I was like, I'm on both, right? So I had them both fired up and going. And I just took whichever one got me in, right?
Yeah.
When I got in, I was supposed to play the campaign with Hoppy and Coochie from Souls, or from Celestials.
Yeah.
But of course, they were also having problems getting in. And then once people were in, we were trying to match up. We were trying to sync up in orbit or in the tower or wherever, and it was nothing but contacting Destiny servers, you being in orbit but not being able to see your ship or any HUD, just the planet floating around in the background. If you did manage to get into a tower, it was just you, and it was nothing but contacting Destiny servers the whole time. I was shocked that the API was up and running that whole time, incidentally. And then I ran a couple of missions by myself on Legend. Then I tried to play with Valk, Soul Valkyrie, and Anchorage from Celestials and Wolves. And they both got the bug. Well, Ank got booted from the whole thing and couldn't get back in. He got disconnected while we were in it. When we got up in the first mission to where you're supposed to get your prismatic subclass, she didn't have the option to get her prismatic subclass, which means she had to go back and then run it solo, because that's the only fix for that. So she had to do the whole mission over again. But she had to do it by herself. At that point, I was just like, fuck it. I'm going to just do this myself. Wouldn't be the first time I played one of Destiny's campaigns on Solo Legend. It's what I did with Witch Queen. It's what I did with Lightfall. Let's just do it. And so I tried. I really tried to play that thing all the way through on the first day by myself, but I kept getting error coded. I kept getting Currant error codes and battle eye failures in cutscenes. It happened to me 3 times in cutscenes. I had to experience a large chunk of the story by going to Bungie leaks, because I couldn't get it from Bungie directly. And that really, really pissed me off. I was not happy, and I'm still not happy. The story is good, but having to experience it by going to a leak server to actually see the cutscenes just blows my mind. And the insult to injury is, every single time I got one of those errors that booted me to orbit in the middle of a cutscene, I got a message in game. A big thing came on the screen that said, wait a minute, you shouldn't leave the Final Shape campaign in the middle. It's intended to be experienced as one contiguous thing. You should not go and do anything else, so get back in there. Fucking Bungie is telling me that I'm playing the game wrong, even though they're the ones that keep kicking me to fucking orbit. I was so pissed off. And that's not even it. Like, there's other errors that were going on. There was an issue with the API where if you went to dim and you looked at your gear, if the weapon you had a curated role or like a collections type role, whatever the perks that would show up if you looked at it in collections, those perks were showing up as additional perks in dim that you could actually select and apply from dim, and they would show up in game for a while. So if you had a gun that was like a 4 out of 5, but the quote curated role or the collections role had the perk you want on it in one of those columns, you could just flip it and it would work. You would then have the gun you wanted. I have a True Prophecy right now that has both timed payload and explosive payload in columns 3 and 4. It's I call it the Flinchenstein gun because it's all flinch all the time. But so that's going on. So that shit's going on. For a while there, you could disassemble Kvastovs for free enhancement cores. You could pull them for free from your collections and just break them down for enhancement cores.
Oh damn, I missed that.
You could go and play Crucible private matches and get Crucible get Shaxx rank and get Crucible rewards from private matches, and whatever your stats were in those games affected your stats like it was any other Crucible game. So all of this stuff's going on, even though after Lightfall launched, and the servers were having a shit fit at Lightfall, people not being able to get on and play. They posted a huge article as part of their This Week at Bungie, where they detailed all the things they were changing internally in order to mitigate this stuff ever happening again. There's a whole big article about all the mitigations they already had in place to make sure this kind of stuff doesn't happen. Yeah, and here we are. Now, listen, I understand that Bungie had record number of people ever trying to play Destiny 2. Their concurrence, the concurrent numbers that they showed were highest single day numbers in franchise history. Probably because there's a lot of teenagers on summer vacation right now. But still, they had to know this was going to be a big release. They've been pushing how important it is to play this campaign all the way through, to get all your story beats right. What we got was what I personally think is the worst rollout from a technical perspective of a major Destiny release in franchise history. And I'm talking D1, D2. I was around for Splicer, which was bad. I was around for Rise of Iron. I don't know if you were around for Rise of Iron in Destiny 1, but a lot of people will call Rise of Iron Rise of Tapir because everybody was getting Tapir errors the entire time. You couldn't get on for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And even if you did, you'd get kicked out with a Tapir error. Or if you tried to load something, you get a Tapir error. That used to be the worst. I think this is worse than those. This is worse than Shadowkeep. This is worse from a technical perspective than any release they've ever done. And you'd think after 10 fucking years, just with Destiny, they would have managed to sort this shit out.
I don't know what to tell you. You're right. 100% right. You'd think they'd be able to manage to, I don't know, at least mitigate this somehow, some way. So it's not so bad, but it was bad.
I mean, listen, I give them all the credit in the world for being super communicative about what was going on. They have been super communicative about everything that's going on, but they launched this thing where they launched this DLC with a raid that's going to happen 3 days afterwards, and most people can't even play for at least half the day of day one. So all your day one, all your raid preppers, you know, are getting fucked out of that. I guess everybody's on an even playing field, but it kind of it really messes up the experience of trying to get in, play the story, enjoy the story, and then get yourself prepped to actually go, compete in contest mode or try to get the first day of the raid done. And it's not like they can delay anything because there's more Final Shape story locked behind the raid getting done the first time. So I don't know. It's just bad all around. It's the biggest fumble Destiny or Bungie's ever had with this game. Anyway, I'm done.
It was a big one. That's what she said. Let me out. All right. Yeah. So I think we all agree. Day one sucked. Pretty hard. But once you were able to get into the game and start playing, it was pretty good. It's pretty good. I only got fucked on one cutscene, and it was right at the beginning of the day, actually, ironically. And it was not the very first cutscene, but it was right at the end of the very first mission. So I go from finishing the mission, where you make it to the tower or whatever.
Yeah.
To being in, I'm pretty sure that was I don't know, whatever. The old Vanguard. No. Isn't that the speaker room where Cade was hanging out?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I go from finishing that mission to standing right in front of Cade. And I was like, is that really how they're introducing him? Like, I had no idea that I got cut out of that. Like, I didn't get it at all. It just went from end of mission to standing in a speaker room by Cade. And I was like, I remember saying in the chat, I was like, that's terrible. I was like, that's garbage. And then I went to use the washroom, and then I sat down, and I was thinking when I was there, I was like, there's no way that's how they did it. I was like, I must have... The ship must have fucked up a cutscene or something. So I went and looked it up, and then we watched the cutscene on YouTube, and then we got back into the game, and then I didn't miss any cutscenes after that. But yeah, right. I was like, what the fuck? I was so confused. I'm like, what a terrible way to reintroduce him. And I guess we technically reintroduced him at the end of Season of the Wish, but. And it was a good scene too. Like, he throws a harmonica at you.
Yeah,
it's good. It was good. It was fun. And I felt like I didn't get to absorb it as much as I should have. Kind of same idea as you. It's because I had to go and find it outside of the game and watch it, and then I could get back into the game. So it wasn't a smooth process. Anyway, it's whatever. It's done now. It sucked. But there's nothing we can do about it now. So, I say we give our impressions of the game itself, like in an order, like the campaign, and then I guess you haven't done a lot of the post-campaign stuff if you did the campaign 3 times.
Well, let's just go over what we've done, I guess.
Well, let's talk about the campaign. So we're going all in the campaign. Reminder, I said at the beginning, spoilers. All right, calm down. So, as for the campaign, I liked the campaign. I'm very surprised that they didn't actually end it, and they're not pulling King's Fall. The story ends in the raid, which is crazy to me since only about 15% of people play raids. But they did it. They went and they did it, which I think is really cool. Kind of. I like the idea. I never played King's Fall or whatever the fuck that expansion was called.
The Taken King.
The Taken King. Thanks. But you had told me about it. You know, there was you actually play the campaign and you feel satisfied, but the people that went into the raid felt extra satisfied. This, if I were to play this and it ended where it ended, I'd be like, and I never plan on playing the raid, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, sure.
Also, here's a big FYI. If you guys go into the timeline and you look up episode 1, There's a huge spoiler right in the very first line, so don't look it up. And I mean, it's pretty obvious, but it really just spells it out for everybody. And I was kind of really annoyed when I saw it. I was like, Bungie. You'd understand if I told you, but I'm not going to tell you. Because I was super annoyed when I saw it, personally. Okay, so I skipped right to the end for some reason. And, you know, it's just what I do. But I think... okay, first off, the environments. Best environments in Destiny history, right? Like, maybe I didn't play all D1, but the environments are beautiful, I think.
Yep.
I think
They're
look
certainly
incredible.
the best in all of D2.
Okay.
The whole Pale Heart, it looks very good. They're varied. They're big. There's a lot to explore on them.
Mm-hmm.
That's very well done.
They look great. There's multiple fast travel points. Everything looks good. It looks incredible. It looks varied. It looks different. It's weird. It's cool. There's nostalgia baked in. But there's not too much. Like it's not just like it's not everywhere, but it's there, and it looks good. You know, you got the Cosmodrome, but it's like completely different. You got the tower and some of the stuff going on there, but it's like. It looks good. It looks good, and I think everything looks good. And I was sitting there last night, and I said to Chad, I was like, you know, people always talk about Destiny being beautiful, and I've never felt that way playing this game in almost any instance of playing this game. But today I do. I thought everything looked great, and it was unique, and it was good, and it was great. That's just my opinion on that. The storyline. You know, I don't know. I'd give it a like solid 7. Like it wasn't anything spectacular. The end cutscene was cool. Sure, great. There was the one emotional moment that was like, okay, yeah. That was. I think that was fairly well done. But I didn't even know that ghost's name before the campaign. Did everybody? Is that just because I'm not a lore junkie?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's like I said, we're doing spoilers, so we're talking about Zaval's ghost. I don't even remember his name now. Tarj, right? I don't know if he had to do what he did, but I mean, he went in to try to save Zavala, and he didn't make it. So, but I think that was pretty well done. And I actually felt emotional afterwards around the campfire when he was talking about Tarj. And I was like, oh, shit. So imagine people that actually knew the character and might have a little bit more attachment to them. So I think the pacing was fine. It was well done. There was some instances where I was like, I felt like I would be here. I would fight enemies. I would go here and fight enemies, and then I'd have to go back here and fight enemies again. I didn't like that. They did it a few times where it was like you go from point, and then you had to repeat the points and go backwards, and enemies respawned again on your way back, and it was I don't know, that kind of I was like and it did it enough that it made me think about it, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, they keep doing that, and I get it, but stop it. Yeah, so I mean, I'd say I'd give the campaign and the story itself a decent rating. Obviously, far better than Lightfall and Shadowkeep, which is great, thank God, because they sucked. I'd probably put it pretty close to Witch Queen. But the last fight was too easy. Am I the only one that felt that way? Did you have a hard time with it?
I didn't think the fight was easy. What'd you go in with?
Okay, you didn't. I might have just been, lucky. I mean, I had my Hunter, Prismatic, Golden Gun. I had. What did I have for? weapons? I don't remember.
Well, I went on Titan by myself.
I had my grenade launcher. Sorry.
It was not the easiest thing in the world.
Okay. I had to do it like 5 or 6 times, I think, before I got like the hang of everything I was doing. But like once I did, like, I had to do Callus. Like, I was doing Callus for like an hour and a half at least, maybe longer. And Savathun, maybe not necessarily hard, but really fucking long. And if you die, you have to start at the beginning. So I think that was part of its difficulty. I don't know. I did this in under 30 minutes. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it was longer than that, but it didn't feel like it when I was in game. And I remember getting it done. I remember like getting to go into the thing the third time. Like right away, I thought I was going to do I thought we were going again. The whole loop. But then all the Vanguard was there, and they're like, "Go back in," and I'm like, "What do you mean? I'm getting ready." And then I realized like nothing was happening, and I saw the sword there, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And I went in, I killed the bitch or the guy or the girl, whatever the fuck they are, the statue, and then it was over, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And I do like how they went along with that story thread where it's like because it makes sense, right? You guys all work together and you injured him, so now that we can all go and kill him in the raid. So I think it's a good way to do it. If they were going to do it that way, that's great. We've talked up the Witness to be this all-powerful being, which we've done hundreds of different times with different. No, maybe not all-powerful being, but Callus had this great big thing over his head of how big of a character he was for so long, a Savathun, and then one little Guardian walks in, boom, 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 bang, bang, and they're both dead. So this was a nice little variation of that where it was, they even said to the point where they lost the fight, which I think is a little dramatic. They kicked the shit out of him, and then they ran away when he got real big and scary. So... Yeah. In my opinion, but that I wouldn't necessarily call that fight a loss, but whatever, it's all good. And nobody died in that fight. They got to die in the campaign, right? I mean, in the raid, somebody's got to die in the raid.
I mean, yeah, potentially.
You got to kill a character. You have to. It's the final shape. You're going up against an all-powerful being that can just do this and kill people.
There is more story coming because remember, there's not just the raid, but there's actual story mission, there's campaign story missions that take place after the raid.
Is there? Okay, I knew there was that activity. I didn't know if there were story missions.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see.
I thought the difficulty of Legend was fine, appropriate. It scaled up as you went. I did get a little tired of tormentors or variations of tormentors in tiny rooms, but we worked it out in the end. So
there's nothing that really pops into my head when I think that, so it must not have really got to me. I've got to say I am sick and fucking tired of characters hiding behind shit. Enemies hiding behind shit in this game. I remember back in the day when enemies used to take cover, it was novel. It was like, oh my god, he just ducked behind the desk. That shit now, just fucking stop it. Just stop. Fuck it. And it's so annoying. It's like, just let me take my sniper rifle and shoot you in the head. Like, stop ducking or teleporting behind a wall. Like, oh my god.
You just want it to be easy, huh?
It doesn't need to be easy, but it's so annoying. It's like, especially the fucking captains, the fallen captain. Oh my god. What the bunch, the biggest chicken shit character I've ever seen in my life. And then these new big well, not the big ones, but maybe the medium ones. I don't fucking know. Maybe they were the big ones. They kept hiding on me too, and it's just like, jeez. But let me tell you, Golden Gun put a dampener in a lot of those fuckers in this. Like, I killed so many people in one shot. And now I'm killing even more people with one shot, and then another one with another one shot. That exotic fucking sniper with Celestial. Mwah! Kisses. Oh my god, that's such a good gun. It's got to get nerfed. It's so strong. We'll get to that. That's not part of the story. Yes, exactly, Tony. Like, I hate it so much. Sorry, I'm not supposed to read chat. You got to get one of them in per podcast. Okay, so as for the storyline, the story campaign, yeah, I thought it was very good. I think it's probably on par with Witch Queen. I had a just as good time in there as I
think
did.
it's the best story that Bungie's ever put out, personally.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good. I think Witch Queen is the best one they put. Well, Witch Queen. So before this, because I never saw any of the other ones, some of the D1 ones. And I said it was on par with it. So that makes
Witch Queen,
that
Forsaken, Witch Queen, and Final Shape.
I wasn't
all very good.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I wasn't invested as much in Destiny when Forsaken came out, so I really think I missed the beat on where that was a good story.
All right.
And it's purely because I didn't care about the game as much, even though I was running the community. The community was a lot smaller back then. I played way less Destiny than I do now during year one, like abysmally less. Like if you go back and look, like I bet I spent less than 100 hours in Destiny in year one. So I just wasn't there. So I remember playing through the campaign and being like, oh, okay, so this is a Destiny expansion. And ironically, it's probably one of the best expansions that they ever put together because, the patrol zones, the strikes, all the activity, the raid, everything was just top notch. When you go back and look at it now, knowing what you know, whatever. In that instance, can we talk about this one strike expansion bullshit? Like, can we get more than one fucking strike, Bungie? Jesus Christ!
Well, we don't want to over deliver, sir.
That's not over delivering, okay? That's doing what's expected.
I mean, it's the strike.
The strike was fine. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was fine. Like, them talking about it made it like it's not that good. Do you remember you seeing that on the vid doc? She's talking about like, the wall is gonna close it. Like you literally just walk it, like the first time you ever do it. So you're gonna get better at it. And then I was streaming when I did it, so I went in the right door and admittedly died the first time because I did not jump up top. So and then I was like, okay, chat, you can't go down. Let's go back in and take a look. Oh look. At the door. Yeah, like that's not gonna be that. Like just the way they made that like little bit there sound and like the way they built that vid dog was just like, oh my god, we're doing something. It's gonna be so amazing. You've got this feeling where the walls are coming closing in. Oh my god, it's so tense. And no, it isn't. Like it's just another mechanic. Now, ironic. Well, we'll get to that post. The post mission stuff they did is better than almost anything they did in the campaign. It's crazy. Anyway, we'll get to it in a minute. Do we need to talk about the campaign anymore?
I mean, not specifically. I do want to mention one thing. I fucking hate how they implemented prismatic and transcendence in the mission. There is nothing I dislike more than enemies you can't do anything about unless you put on the shit they say you have to have on. Now, I understand people are going to say, but wait, you can be transcendent on any subclass. That is true. But in many of the encounters, the area where you get transcendence is pretty far away from the enemies you need to hit with it, and it doesn't last very long when you're not on a prismatic subclass. They very clearly wanted to pigeonhole you into using prismatic for as much of the campaign as possible.
Yeah,
and it's completely obvious, and I fucking hate it. And I hate that stuff is showing up outside of the campaign. I was hoping that it was just going to be a campaign thing, and I really hope it's only a Pale Heart thing.
It'll be in the raid.
Probably, and it's going to be annoying. If that shows up in the raid and in GMs, So irritated. Fucking hate it. It's the worst. It is such a bad mechanic. It is such a feel bad moment for players. Anyway,
Yeah.
they
So
should have learned that shit with Lightfall too.
okay, that's true, but it is better than Strand, in my opinion.
Prismatic?
Not the subclass themselves, but the implementation of it. And the getting the strand mediations afterwards to unlock everything is way harder than just going and finding it.
That's true.
So they learned a little bit.
Certainly, the experience of going out and getting the fragments, especially after the fact, is a lot better experience. There are varied ways to get them. You have to go explore and figure things out. So it's much better than just go kill stuff with Strand. Get Strand meditations. Enjoy. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So, talk about some post-campaign stuff that at least I've done. I don't know how much you've done.
I've done all the post-campaign stuff except for finishing up Micah on my Titan. So I've done all the exotics and I've done everything up to where the campaign mission tells you where the actual mission in your director gives you how many hours it is until the raid.
Yeah.
So I've done all that stuff on my Titan.
Tells you how how many Earth defenses are ready.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A la Mass Effect 3.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I don't even mean that stuff. I mean, well, there's all that stuff with it, a bunch of missions. You do some stuff with Keitel and Zavala, and you do some stuff with Crow and Cade, which the Crow Cade one gets you. Well, let's talk about that exotic sniper, because, woof, let's go, baby. What a gun. Sorry. Have you been using it?
Sorry.
That's incredible.
Okay.
What are you talking about? It's so much
Sorry.
fun to use.
It's a gimmick. It's going to be hot for part of the season. Then it's either going to get nerfed in the mid-season patch or at the start of next season.
It's going to get
Enjoy it while
nerfed.
you
It
can.
has to get nerfed because, like, straight up, you put that thing on, you charge it up, you have a Celestial, you get your super up, bang, bang, you get like a 400k shot and a 500k shot, like, back to back, depending on the boss, obviously, and the damage resistance and what. But, like, the point is, like, it is a fucking strong shot because it interacts with Celestial. Whereas, shit, I don't know. It just does. So, and it charges up so fucking fast. It's like having an 80% super every fucking 30 seconds. Like, if you have something to charge it up on.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's all right.
Okay, whatever, dude. I love it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. If you didn't know, you take it, you hit precision shots, it charges it up. You only have to hit like 10 and fucking just do it. So if you're fighting an ogre, just like boop, 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 easy peasy. Full charge, Celestial, boom. Oh, you got another fucking Hive Guardian light over there. Actually pop your super, shoot him in the head. You're good. You're ready to go. Pick up all those orbs. Guess what? You fucking charged again. Pull it, boom, bang. Because it also charges on orb pickup. And not just a little bit amount. And when it's stowed, it's like a whole... Oh, what a gun. Let me tell you. Also, the Season Pass gun, what a piece of shit.
You talking about Red Death?
Yeah.
Nah, Red Death is very good.
Oh my
Especially
god.
for PvP.
Well, I don't talk
I'm
about
not a
PvP.
huge fan of it for PvE currently. We'll
Okay.
see when the Catalyst comes out.
Yeah, the Catalyst
in
makes it stronger.
Season 2, or
then-
in Chapter 2 of Echoes, but I mean, it's a gun that heals you.
Yeah, that's fine. So does my Luna's Howl.
Yeah, but this one just heals you for actually getting a kill. You don't have to do anything else.
Oh my god. Imagine having to reload your gun.
It's just automatic.
That's fine, but I don't... It takes for... Like, it's not strong. I hate when I have to shoot something.
strong.
Like, I hate that I have to shoot... Or, like, pull the trigger more than once for something to die. Like...
You not use primaries, homie?
I use my Zoali's Bane, my Luna's Howl, my fucking... I even brought Fatebringer out during my play on the final shape because I wanted to use the exotic sniper, but I wanted ad clear that blew things up. The only thing I could think of at the time was my Firefly Fatebringer, and that gun is actually still not bad as long as you can shoot people in the head.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, I've been rocking around with Fatebringer for the last 10 hours. I know, crazy, right? I'm insane. Anyway, so yeah, so the Zavala. Well, there's one more thing I want to say. Keith David as Zavala. There was a few times that I actually got pulled. I got pulled out by it. There was definitely a couple lines that I didn't think were very good, but overall, I think he did fine. But it seemed really crazy that Zavala was such a different character. In knowing that it was a different actor, like it felt like it was, like I don't know, on the nose or whatever. It was almost just like they were like it's like, oh, Zavala's a completely different person now. And I get the concept. They wrote it into the story. He saw all that shit. The witness showed him all that shit. It just really fucked with him.
Well, it's been building for a while now.
Yeah, I remember all the stuff during Season of the Haunted and whatnot, but we haven't heard about it since, and that was 2 years. 2 years ago, right? So, because that was the first season of Witch Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 years ago, even longer than that because of the delay. So 2.5 years ago. Fick. Anyway,
Listen, I don't mind that the president from Rick and Morty is the commander of
people do keep talking about that for sure. I do have.
He has a couple of lines that sound like they're straight out of him being president on Rick and Morty.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. It's a thing.
There was one thing that really bothered me though, and I did not like it. Did you hear the radio call after the campaign between Zavala and Ikora?
Mm-hmm.
Where he asked her to teach her how to use stasis.
Yeah.
He sounds like such a fucking idiot.
I'm glad he's asking her instead of Osiris.
I know, but he's like, Ikora, would you teach me how to use stasis? Ooh woo. Like that's what it sounded like to me. He was like it was. I don't know. It didn't sound like Zavala. Zavala would never do that. I don't fucking care who you are. Like, also, if you lose your ghost, you can still keep all your magic powers until you die?
Doesn't have his light anymore. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What he can do is limited, and he can't resurrect anymore.
Yeah, okay. But, so...
Stasis isn't a light power.
I guess it's a darkness power. Yeah, you're right.
He could strand, and he could use stasis. He could learn how to use them. Yeah.
Well, fuck me. Okay. Yeah. When I heard that, I was like, wait, he's not even a guardian anymore. Like,
you don't have to be a guardian to use that stuff.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. But
Osiris lost his light, and he fucks around with. He plays cats in the cradle with Strand all the time. We see him doing it.
Right. Okay, I forgot about that too. All right. Well, that's fair. Okay. So yeah, Zavala's just gonna be the fucking commander of the Vanguard, but he's gonna be using Strand. It's cool. Okay, and then we basically got permission from Kay to accept Crow as the new Hunter Vanguard, which I think is the only way they could have done it to actually make people not riot.
I mean,
we got permission from Cade.
Mm-hmm. The original Cade, no less.
And the original Cade. That's right.
I don't know. I didn't mind Aldrin in this.
Aldrin was actually, it wasn't that bad. He wasn't that whiny emo bitch the whole time. Like, they had that moment on the mountain where he told him about the whole wish thing, and that was kind of emo-y, but overall it wasn't that bad. And, yeah, I don't know. Aldrin was good. He was good. He was good. That's weird to say. Kay was great though, and he got a "How's your sister" line in, which was solid. I loved it, and that's exactly when Myra showed up, which was hilarious. Sometimes you just get zingers like that. It was good. Okay, so post campaign we were talking about more. So I actually don't have Maelstrom yet, and I don't have Kvostov yet, but I'm pretty close to Kvostov. And Maelstrom, I have to do 3 missions. Like, what? Do you know what the 3 missions at the bottom of the director in the Pale Heart that says what does it say? It says something focused, but it's
the
like
story missions.
Yeah, but
that
it's
are
like
down there.
it's like multiplayer focused, but it's not the word multiplayer.
Yeah, I haven't even looked into it. They're all
okay. No, I have a quest to do them now, like to go and do them. But I was just that's how you get Maelstrom. But it's just a weird thing. It says cooperative focus. They're cooperative focus missions. But it also says on it that it doesn't scale with Fireteam.
Yeah, and they're pretty high light requirement when I checked into them before.
All it says is you can't go higher than this.
Yeah, like 2005 or something.
Yeah. You think you need to be 2005? Like,
I don't think.
Do you think it's powered that high?
Shit. No, I don't know. I haven't looked into it, but I saw that and I was like, huh, that's an indication to me that this might be a little something. I'll come and look at this later.
Yeah, you get a quest later to do all 3 of them, and then you get Maelstrom from it. So when you start talking to that hunter chick, whatever her name is, Micah
10.
Micah 10. Yeah, I didn't know who that was either, but somebody told me they were part of the 6 Coyotes.
6 Coyotes.
And I was like, oh, that's a shame. She kind of reminded me of Amanda.
Secretly is Amanda Holiday.
Well, that's what for a hot minute. I was like, you know what? A lot of her inflections and stuff are very similar. Then I asked Jen, I was like, is this a person we know in lore? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, never mind. And then I got sad.
They're not like a big player in lore. Otherwise, you would have heard about them somewhere else. When at the end of the game, when Mara's going through everything, and then she says, "And a hunter of some renown, Micah 10." I was like, okay, Micah 10, hunter of some renown, somebody who's only ever appeared in a lore entry. Got it. Weird that this isn't a cutscene, but really feels like, hey, go do some quests for this person. That's what it sounds like it meant to be.
Definitely go do them, because let me tell you. Okay, we're gonna talk about them for a minute. So there's a bunch of shit you need to go through, and they're actually they're the worst. Okay, so every time, but they're the best. Now hear me out. So you have to go through and do all these quests for whatever reason. I don't even fucking know. I think that's I did a bunch of quests, and then I got the Maelstrom quest from her, and then I still had to go and find Lost Ghosts. And in the Lost Ghosts missions is where you find the keys for Kvostov. But when you actually get all the Ghosts missions done, you don't get anything. And I was like, what the fuck? So I thought that I was getting Kvostov, and so I was pretty mad about that. But whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so but you go do this thing, you find this ghost, you give it a little rub, and then they make you go do what's that shit called again? Overthrow, Overlord? I don't know. Where you go to a zone and you gotta kill a bunch of people for 4 tiers.
Yep. Where you go to a zone and you just keep killing enemies for 30 minutes. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Do you know what it's called?
It's Overthrow, I think, is what it's called.
Okay. So that's the biggest problem with these quests. So you do that, and then it goes, okay, go open Overthrow chests, and you have to do 6 of these. So you do that, and then lets you. So you go find the ghost. You go do overthrow, and then you go follow a fucking white bird fly through the sky, and then you get to do a quest, or you get to do a mission. Those missions are some of the best or most creative missions I've seen. Like they're super tiny and small, but they're really fun. There's one where you can only kill people with a sword. There's another one where like there's this big like totem thing, and you have to hide in the shadows because if you're not in the shadows, you get lit on fire and you die. Um, there's another one where it's a fucking cave where you run through that's just full of lucent moth, like just full of him, just blow everywhere. Bring a gun with lots of bullets. Uh, then and then ironically, it's like they must have different people to set up these missions because one is just a really high HP ogre. It's like, who made that one? Because you suck. But it was legit. It had 3 light guardians in it, and you have to kill one. Throw the it drops a thing. You throw it at the ogre. You get to take 1/3 of its health. Then you go kill the other one. Drops the 1/3 of health, and that's it. And it's like, but there was one more. Anyway, I don't know. I remember thinking when I was doing them, when I was doing like the fire and shadow one, I was like, this is a really cool mission. Probably one of the best missions like I've done in the game. But they're pretty short, so maybe don't take me too serious when I say it's better than all the final. Can you put up a stasis wall to block them all? Oh, I don't know. You have to try. I was running prismatic, and I'm not a Titan. They're really good. They're fun. But you remember to pick up the key for Kvasov in each one. It's hidden in the area somewhere. So don't do what I did and then do it once and then learn that and have to go back and do it all again because then you'll cry. The biggest problem is you do... So that's the loop. Find the ghost, do overthrow, follow bird, do mission. And then talk to Micah. And then quest, find a ghost, do overthrow, follow bird, do mission. The overthrow part, once you get to the 6th one, you're done. You've
had enough.
I've had enough fucking
You're over
overthrow to do me a lifetime. And now I'm not sure if I can. Overthrow is not actually that bad. There's nice little activities you can do with them. They're all like different, spaced out, and good and fun. It's not that bad. But when you're trying to get a quest done, and then basically this quest forces you to do it 6 times, and you already did it a bunch because you were doing Pathfinder earlier before you got your exotic sword, which you get which you get other rolls for if you do it afterwards. So I lost my rolls this week because it still counts. You know, it says +1 or +2 or -2, -1. I did those first, and then I did the quest for the exotic sword, and it still says 0, and I didn't get any other drops, and I'm real sad.
Aww.
They should have explained that a little bit, or at least like if it doesn't give you one of the swords, don't take it don't take it away. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I can't talk on Kvasov or Maelstrom because I haven't gotten them yet. I really like... ironically, I don't know the name of it, but actually, I probably write my inventory on dim. Yeah, it is. Still Hunt. I really like Still Hunt, especially as a hunter. It's obviously it's a better gun with hunters because of Celestial. And then the sword, which is a random roll energy sword. That does credit. Listen, I have a wolf pack round energy sword.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I read that today, and I was like, what in the fuck? So, if I do a heavy attack, tracking projectiles come out of anybody else that has a sword. That's what it says.
Yep.
I need to use this in some aspect. Where the fuck is the sword? I'm looking for it to see if it says it. Oh, here it is.
Well, it won't be the raid tomorrow because it's been disabled for the raid.
Oh, really?
I think so. Well, the sword perks have been disabled. Like the relentless stuff from the artifact's been disabled because Wolfpack Rouse triggers it.
Okay, yeah. So Wolfpack rounds on a sword. Powered heavy attacks cause nearby sword wielders to emit tracking missiles with every attack. Okay, so they have to. So just like Wolfpack rounds. Every time you shoot a rocket, but that. How strong are they?
If you get a caster frame, you can get one with perfect fifth on it for the same perk that I just went out of my brain. Polaris Lance has, and it'll proc the perk twice by the time the caster frame runs up. So it'll cause the enemy to explode 2 times. It's pretty good. There's some pretty nutty things the sword can do, and it's a special ammo sword.
Yeah, I think it's all crazy. Like the original one I got was Stormbringer. So if I would do a couple times, a fucking giant lightning bolt comes down and kills everything.
Yep.
And that's a wave.
Listen,
that's a wave frame.
it's a sign of the end times, man. We're at the end of Destiny 2's life. They're just gonna start throwing shit out here, like it's Age of Triumph or Age of Heroes or whatever it was in Destiny 1, and then the game will disappear and Destiny 3 will get launched or get announced or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's really. I think it's interesting. I want to see what you can do with at least some of that stuff. Wolfpack round sword is crazy to me. I wish it interacted with rocket launchers, like Wolfpack rounds does. And it probably will at some point by accident.
It could. That's true.
Anyway, so what else is there posts really? Can't think of anything.
Do you recommend the final shape to other people?
If you play Destiny, yeah, sure, absolutely.
Me too. It's good stuff. If you have been playing Destiny, you should definitely give this a go.
Yeah, I guess really like Pathfinder. Thoughts?
It doesn't bother me, but I don't mind any of the activities. There are a lot of people on the forums and Reddit and Twitter that are very angry about Pathfinder. Because you cannot get through Pathfinder without playing some form of PvP, whether that's a little bit of Gambit or a little bit of Crucible. You have to do one or the other at least once. And people are upset about it. People are also upset that losing bounties from those vendors means Bright Dust bounties don't exist for those vendors anymore. So Bungie's not giving out just free Bright Dust for anybody who just wants to go do bounties.
I mean, you can always just go to Gunsmith and do all his Bright Dust bounties.
That's true.
Like, it doesn't matter that they don't have them specifically. Like, you can sit there, if you really want Bright Dust, you can sit there and fucking grind Gunsmith bounties literally all day long.
Yeah. It doesn't. I don't care about it. It's whatever.
I do find
I will run it if I need to, but once I have like the ergo sums I want, or I have the power level that I need to be, I won't ever touch it again. So it's whatever.
Gunsmith has Bright Dust bounties. I assume that optional bounties have Bright Dust. Maybe they don't.
Usually daily repeatables have some Bright Dust associated with them.
Yeah, I could be totally wrong. Maybe. Yeah, it's my bad if that's the case.
Just wait for Eva Levante to come around and then bounty it up.
Or just do all your
go AFK farm.
Go AFK farm.
Yeah. Your season pass level is locked. You can't go past a certain point because of the way the episodes work.
Yeah.
Once you hit the max, you can't do it anymore. But I have it on good authority that if you continue to level past that, you still get bright Ingrams, Eververse Ingrams, at the same pace you used to.
Okay. I wonder if they intended that.
I don't know. I don't know. I do know that a lot of the folks that I know that are into that sort of thing were a little bit salty that they can't get big numbers on their season pass rank anymore. Because big numbers make their brain happy.
Yeah, I don't care. That's fine. Doesn't bother me. Okay, so yeah, I guess overall right now, obviously we haven't touched the raid. We haven't touched any of the post-raid stuff. We haven't even got to all the content that's in the game itself right now. Yeah, you know, servers on day 1, 0 out of 10. Final Shape campaign, you know, 8 out of 10 for me. Rex says it was even better, probably. Amount of strikes, 0 out of 10. I want more strikes. I like strikes. Man, it makes me mad. It's like, fuck. Jesus Christ. Like, when you launched Destiny, how many strikes were there? Like, fucking 10 or something, right? Forsaken had 3, or at least.
Yep.
Probably more.
I would have expected to have 3 from an expansion like this, but, you know, Bungie doing Bungie things.
I would have liked at least 2. Last time we got 2 was Witch Queen. We only got 1 for fucking Lightfall. We only got 1 for Shadowkeep. Shit, did we only get 1 for Beyond Light? Is it just Glassway, or is there another one?
It was just 1 for Beyond Light.
Oh my god, what a disaster. Give me back the strikes that we don't play anymore. And did you see the Conqueror shit? You gotta do like 9 GMs now to guild your Conqueror.
Okay. Got a problem?
No, but... Why isn't it 6? Whatever. At least we get to do a new one in GM. That'll be fun. Maybe. Potentially. Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. I think it's a good. I think it's a good expansion. So good job, Bungie. Keep it going though. Hopefully episodes don't suck. Please don't put spoilers in your calendar next time. Fucking idiots. And that's all I gotta say for now. Pretty good.
Your network guys can eat my dirty asshole, Bungie. That's all.
Yeah. Don't ask why his asshole's dirty. Just eat it.
The morning after I've gone to the greasy Mexican buffet.
I was gonna say had some tacos. All right. Oh, gross. Ew. Oh my god. What a note to end it on. At this moment in time, I'm fairly happy with it. Hopefully our API bots can figure out what the fuck it's looking at for Player of the Week and stuff, but we'll see. And we got to figure that out too. And I also named all the level up stuff after Vex shit for episode 1.
Yep, I saw that.
Instead of Final Shape shit. I thought that made sense. Because I can't remember what we did on major expansion launches. But I was sitting there thinking, I was like, well, is it the episode that we do it for, or is it the expansion? Because I honestly can't remember what we did for...
It's the season. It's the seasonal stuff that we do it for, so it'll be episode.
Yeah.
I'll get around to updating the graphic once we get some graphics for the episode.
We got to figure out what player of the week stuff is too, like what the points are and whatnot. But we got to. I didn't want to ask Hoppy to look into it yet. You know, he's playing the Final Shape, so.
And then going on vacation. Yep.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh fuck! When?
He'll be on vacation. He leaves Saturday, Sunday.
Saturday, like day 1 Saturday or next Saturday?
He's not participating in day 1. Oh. He's going on family vacation instead.
All right, so we might just have to make some shit up this week. All right, that's not podcast material. Okay, overall, we think the Final Shape is very good. You should play it if you're a Destiny fan. If you're not a Destiny fan, I don't usually recommend the New Light experience to anybody. So, but if you want to, you're more than welcome to, and the expansion is good. So there is that. I got nothing else to say.
Me neither. Let's close this one up.
Cool. Yes, we want to get back to playing the Final Shape because it's good. All right, so thank you so much for watching this special edition of This Week in Shrouded, where we went over our first impressions of the Final Shape. TLDR, very good game. Shitty servers.
Fuck current errors.
Very good. Pretty much. Thank you so much for watching. I'm AGreener. This is Mr. Wrecked. It's been a pleasure having you here. Have a good night.
Bye.